Good afternoon, folks. Nice to have your company. Actually, I've been busy this morning signing Pinky Punky mallets being sent out for the weekend, because people are going to have a games weekend, and I know that Malletts high on the agenda because of the number of Pinky Punkies that have been bought online at Timmy Mallett this week. It's been a very, very busy week. Going to do some painting this afternoon. You can see the purple prepped board. So I've been looking at the arrival of spring, and the colder weather this week slowed down the arrival of many things. Earlier in the week, remember, I was out in the beautiful cycle ride. My little bit of exercise, what, quarter of a mile from my home. Beautiful daffodils. Fabulous. And I painted, if you tuned in earlier in the week, some daffodils. I'm going to do some more work on this later. I'm going to work on those trees. I've been looking at that and thinking about it. Now, the good news about slowing the arrival of spring down is that it means that we are still a few days away from the glory, the crowning glory that is the cherry blossom. But we're in the last week of camellias. Now, camellia in my garden, still in bloom. It's a really great camellia. You see that lovely pink flower there? Wow. There's a little close-up of the pink camellia. It's really nice, and I just wondered whether to paint a bit of camellia. Now then, I've got a choice of palettes today. Could use this palette. I don't think it's very clean, is it? No. Bit mucky. Or I could use this palette, which has got a little bit of paint on it from a couple of days ago, actually. Doing some painting out here a couple of days ago. And because it's oil paint, it's still live. So I'm going to have a little go at these camellias. Now, the colour I'm going for, first of all, is, I'll put it somewhere safe, there it is, Permanent Rose. Permanent Rose. By permanent, it means it's permanent. Okay, right. And rose, well, you know what colour rose is going to be. It's going to be a pinkish colour. I'll mix it with a bit of rose doré. And I'm going to block in where I think my camellias are going to go. I like the first few brush strokes going in. It's like, yes. Remember, you paint not what you know, but what you see. So what I'm doing is I'm looking at the image. That image I took this morning, I'm looking at that on my screen, and that just gives me a little hint as to where things may go. Right, a bit of darker red into there. And what will happen is this picture will emerge. And you'll get the general idea of how big a piece of how big the piece of camellia is going to be. It's a lovely flower, camellia. It comes out at the beginning of March, and it lasts and literally until the cherry blossom's time to take over. And when the cherry blossom takes over, the camellia goes, okay, I've done my bit. Yeah, it's your turn now, mate. Off you go. And it just hands it all over to the cherry blossom. Nice. Right. Straight away, got the shape of a camellia flower. Yeah! Right. That's the start. It's great, isn't it? I like the way things just emerge. So I'm painting with this mixture of permanent rose, doré rose. It's a nice French name, doré rose, and it gives me a little idea with some white titanium what colours I'm looking for. Right, okay, now then, not all of these flowers are in view. Some of them are obscured by leaves. Good, good. Remember, I've done some underpainting into here. This big slab of purple on there, it just removes the threat of the white board. It's quite thick, this paint, because I'm quite comfortable and confident in where the light and shade of this camellia flower is going to go. The colour of springtime. You know, we've had such a long winter, and for many people in the country it's been a bitter, wet winter. It's been an unbelievably torrential rain everywhere, floods, and really rather difficult winter to deal with. It's odd that, because we haven't had very much rain in the last 3 weeks or so, maybe more. A lot of people, a lot of gardeners are complaining that their garden's dry, which is odd for spring. Right, look at that, straight away, I've got my camellias coming in. Wow, like this. Right, need a bit of terps. Where did I put the terps? Oh, it's not terps, it's Artist's White Spirit. Oh, right, there we go. Artist's White Spirit. I'm going to have a little bit of the this. Oh, that's too bright, that green. Actually, no, I'm going to mix it with this gold. I've squeezed a bit of gold onto here, and what I'm hoping is that by putting in a little bit of gold into this, that it gives me a little bit of glistening in the leaf. Okay, right, I put a bit of buff titanium into that, mix that across into this. Yep. Now, thin brush like that. Right, thin brush like that. Oh, bother. Just trying to find some space. Do you mind holding this for me, please, dear viewer? Right, it's just made your screen wobble. In my book, Utterly Brilliant, My Love's Journey, I talk about one day being in bridge country. So in fact, it was 2 years ago today, down near Bordeaux. Bridge country. There were about 4 bridges that crossed the Gironde and what's that other river called down there? The Dordogne. 4 bridges in the space of about a mile, and I found myself there in the afternoon absorbed by these bridges and thought, you know, the obvious thing to do is to cycle over them and get on and get to the next place, but actually stopping and looking at the bridges made me think of all the beautiful bridges we've got in the world. We've got lots of gorgeous bridges in Britain. Okay, I'm going to start reeling them off now, and you can add to this list for me. Okay, are you ready? Let's start with the Forth Railway Bridge in Edinburgh. Oh, unbelievable. The one that they painted forever and ever and ever, until they came up with paint that would last. And now they only have to paint it every 25 years. So that's number one. Number two, we've already mentioned it, Clifton Suspension Bridge. Lovely bridge down in wonderful Bristol. Number three, I'm going to go back up to the north again and say, let's go with the Ribble Head Viaduct in the Pennines. That's a good bridge. I like that. And the next one would be a new one, the Gateshead Millennium Bridge. Now, I like the bridge that goes over the river in Inverness. That's a good one. Okay, what's next? Next bridge, the Pontycyllith Aqueduct in Wales. That's nice. Now let's go into London and do the Tower Bridge, of course. That's a gorgeous bridge. If we were going abroad, I guess we'd go to Sydney, the Sydney Harbour Bridge, which they copied from Newcastle. Or was it the other way around? The Queen Elizabeth Bridge in Dartford Crossing. Of course, I hadn't thought of that. The Golden Gate Suspension Bridge in San Francisco. That's a gorgeous bridge. Bridge of Sighs, or the Ponte Vecchio Bridge in Italy. There's a stunning bridge, just a motorway bridge in France that is the longest one in the world, isn't it? Actually, we haven't done the motorway bridges. Of course, the Severn Crossing, like that. Hey, come on, let's keep going. Bridges. Where are we up to? Which ones do we like? Is this starting to look like anything yet, or is it just looking a bit splodgy? It's feeling good. It's feeling like it's getting somewhere. I'm going to go with some distant colour under here, some of this nice darker brown hidden underneath these leaves. Keswick Bridge. Oh, Bridge to Skye. The Bridge to Skye. We haven't mentioned that one. Last time I was in Skye, you took a ferry. That's a long time ago, isn't it? It's time I went to Skye again. Because now you go over that bridge. I've cycled over the Severn Bridge into Wales. Not the new one. You can't cycle over that one, I don't think. You cycle over the old one, the one that goes to Chepstow and on to right. What you'll see here is I'm building up bits of light and shade. I'm looking for highlights, bits of shade that will get you this cascade of leaves and of growth in the beautiful flower that is a camellia. The camellia, the harbinger of spring. And at this time of year, you know, the end of, when it gets to the end of is about to come out, it gets ignored. It comes out with the snowdrops and with the crocuses, and then it gets forgotten about because we're getting excited over the next things, the daffodils. But bluebells will be coming out, and I'm going to say they will be out by Easter. Easter's on the 12th, isn't it? Is that next week? Yeah, they'll be out by then, and you'll see them in your woodlands. So if your exercise and your walk takes you close to woods, if you're lucky enough and there's chalk downs or anything like that, you'll see some beautiful bluebells. We're going to have a very good display this year. How do I know? Because I know everything! Apart from the things I don't know. Oh, great, what fun. This is great, I'm loving this. And then also we're going to get next week the cherry blossom. Oh. Ba, 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 da, 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 da. Oh, cherry pink and apple blossom white. Yep, the apple blossom's starting. There's some of it. In fact, it's cherry blossom I was seeing up in the Dean. I saw that on my bike ride. Oh, and the lovely white flowers of hawthorn, also known as blackthorn. It's very odd that the blossom of a blackthorn bush is white. How does that happen then? How can it be white if it's blackthorn? Yep, well, it is. Right. We're looking at the colours of spring. I've decided this year, because we are all stuck in, I am going to document the arrival of this year's spring. And you'll also notice when I'm painting here that I'm not even cleaning the brush. I'm just going straight over. One side of the brush is one colour, the other side is another colour. But I've prepped the board. Little glance over there, you can see there's some lemon yellow giving me some highlight to the leaf. Right, starting to feel good, isn't it? What do you think? Is that how long we've been going? 20 minutes, half hour? Yeah, I'm feeling quite good with this. This is starting to feel like we're getting somewhere. Now I'm going to sharpen up the edge of the flower, and let's have a little looky over here. Yep, I can see. I don't need to sharpen it very much actually. It's not needed a lot. Right, so thin brush again. Where's that? I've got 3 brushes on the go here. Just 3 to create this picture. I'm using a very dark burnt umber mixed with a little bit of Iridian Tarlo blue. Now Iridian is a bit like Prussian blue. I don't know why they called it Prussian. Prussia, for those who care about these things or interested in their history and geography, is in fact a region of Germany, and large parts of East Germany and what is now Poland were known as Prussia. And I don't know why they called it Prussian blue, because there's nothing particularly blue about that part of the world. Most of it is rather sandy, flat, and no, I was going to say it's not very much. That's a bit rude to say that. You can't say that. You know, it's every country's got something interesting and different. Hey, did anybody catch my Twitter interview today? I did a Q&A session with the good people of SPCK, who are the publishers of my book, Utterly Brilliant, My Life's Journey. And we did a Q&A. It came up with some really interesting questions, actually. I enjoyed that. And of course it's there, it's still there, you can see it. So if you look for me on Twitter, I'm Timmy Mallett, 2 L's, 2 T's. And you'll see the interview that I did at lunchtime today. We had a lot of fun with that. That was straight after I'd had a busy time helping in the boxing up of Pinky Punkies to go out for, you know, Malletts Pallette weekend. Right, so we were talking about Utterly Brilliant, My Life's Journey. This is the book with a pink map and drawings at the head of each chapter, and the stories of my community. Ah, now then. I'm talking to myself a bit there, but I'm just taking a little step back. You always have to step back to look at these things. So your image is frozen in this. You've just got what I'm presenting with you here, but I can walk back outside my studio. I can go back as far as I like, actually, and look at it there, and it just means your eyes absorb it differently. Interesting, isn't it, how I started with the beautiful camellia flowers. So the colours I've used in this are the purple underpainting, that's it. I'm going to use some of that gold. Yeah, I found this tube of gold. I found it. Okay, I've inherited some of my dad's paints. My dad was an artist when he wasn't vicaring, and I inherited his painting, his paints. And the good news is oil paints last forever. They just last. So I've got tubes of his colour that are 40, 50 years old, and they still squeeze out and they still work. Right, what I'm doing here now is I'm just going close to the to what I've painted in here, so that I've got some, made sure I'm covering all the details. Everybody likes to think, oh, right, that's it, you've finished it, it's done. It doesn't work like that. Paintings are well on the way, and then you pause, and then you need to think about them, look at them. I don't hurry to ever finish anything. I have to say, you've been very good company today. I'm really enjoying your company. Thank you, Alison. Nice comments there. And I'm enjoying the whole process of this. I started doing this about a week or so ago. Somebody suggested, why don't you paint live from your studio? And I thought, well, that's got nothing. That's a stupid thing to suggest. I said, nobody will be interested in that. You know what Mrs. Mallett said? Mrs. Mallett said, good luck, Mallett. She said, it's like watching paint dry. Oh dear, it's great, isn't it? You know, you always hear it from your nearest and dearest. They tell you how it is. There's me being particular and proud about my work, and she's like, nah, it's like watching paint dry, I won't come in. And right, there we go. But it has been a revelation to do this, to paint like this, with the company of people I don't know, but you know me. And you're very generous, I have to say. You're very kind in both your comments and your company. And I did think to myself, well, nobody's going to do this. Nobody's going to be in the slightest bit interested in this. And now I've discovered that I'm quite wrong. People are interested. just how it's done. And a lot of this, you can see I'm not even, I've gone past the image on the screen or on my phone, and I'm just working at the image on the canvas, and it's very nice. Yeah, so once again, oil paint. I'm going to take a little step back here. Ah, right, okay. 3 brushes. They're not big brushes. I'll get a 4th one out now. What have I got here? And that's a bit too mank, that. Let's get a new brush. Do you know what? You're worth a new brush. A new Timmy paintbrush. Let me find one. I put one somewhere. Where are they? Oh, they're over here. I washed them the other day. Oh, that's where they are. Right. For those who are asking, and there have been a few questions about my train going around, that's because I like having some company. I like the idea of the train giving me company. So that's why I have it. Just a bit of movement in here. Now what's that doing? Ah, right, okay. Right, put a bit of white into there. Yeah, so you can see more of my paintings on my art website, which is Malletts Pallette. Do you like the way I do that? Malletts Pallette. So you can see more of my paintings there, particularly the paintings I produced when I was cycling and painting the Camino de Santiago, which is the story I'm telling in my book, Utterly Brilliant, My Life's Journey. And oh, that's better. A nice dark rich red that goes in there. That's it. Yeah. It's so obvious. It's got a bit more feel to it now, hasn't it? There's a bit more thickness. By adding that thick dollop of darker rose doré into the painting. Now then, I'm looking down here, and there's a very strong highlight coming through here. The structure of the leaves and the petals of a camellia are a bit like a rose, a little bit like a rose. That's nice. I'm holding my breath. Isn't that weird? Why am I holding my breath when I'm painting? You know, I don't need to hold my breath, but I do. I was going to do this painting outside today, but I don't know about you, but it was a bit chilly this afternoon. At lunchtime I went, ooh, a bit cold here, don't fancy doing this. I think I'll do it indoors. Anyway, the advantage of doing it indoors is you've had the train going. The thing that I loved about my cousin Katie's plan for the weekend was to get her kids to do this time capsule. What a lovely idea. What a great thing to do. Well done, Katie. And anyway, I said, well, what are you going to do next? She said, I'm going to do what do you call it? A Las Vegas weekend. How do you do that without, you know, you can't go to Las Vegas. She said, well, we'll teach them blackjack and 21, and we'll pay it for peanuts. Real peanuts. That's a great idea. What a good thing to do. So you teach your kids to play things. Look, we've got plenty of time now. We've got months of this, so you know we've got time to be absorbed and to try things out, and that's pretty good. Right. Now let me just have a little squizzy out. Okay, I got a question for you now, art critics. Question: anything here that is really obvious that I'm missing? Is there anything that you can see that I can't, that I'm missing here? Do I need to do, what do you want me to do next? Greetings from Newton D in Aberdeen. Oh, Johnny, how good to have your company today. So glad. The village, of course, is in lockdown. Yeah, it is. That's where dear brother Martin lived for 37 years in Newton D in Aberdeen. Perfect. So, your comments, please, watchers. Tell me, what needs doing? Are you happy with this? Is it a thumbs up or a thumbs down? Come on, thumbs up, thumbs down. Tell me what your feeling is on this. And if there's anything really obvious, you're happy with these leaves here? I keep looking at the top left. It looks black or blank. Top left. Oh, you mean up here? Okay. Well, yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. Yeah, it's a good point. It is a good point. Okay. Let's try this then. Let's try this just for you, Colin Owen. Let's try putting in some leaves. You can tell me if it makes you feel better. Of course, if it looks rubbish afterwards, it's all Colin's fault, because it was his suggestion. You know, hey, it was perfect beforehand. Nobody else complained, Colin, but you did, matey. So, as you've complained, or made a suggestion, and I did give you permission to make a suggestion, we'll try it. Does that feel better now? Anybody else? A thumbs up or a thumbs down? Come on, give me some ideas here, some little thoughts that you might have. Right, I like the dark area on the top left. It makes the rest of the flowers pop out. Are there any other dark area? Oh, right. Oh, okay. So Kate likes the dark bit. Colin didn't. Oh my goodness me. Now we've got everybody arguing. I'll tell you what we'll do here. We'll add a little bit more darkness down in here. I'm going to bring it up close to the camera in a minute, and you can have a little look at the detail. It's worth seeing the detail and seeing. Ooh, that's thick brown. It's worth seeing how there's different stuff to this. All right, I've made a mess of that. That's a bit of a gloopy brush. Here we go. Are you ready then, boys and girls? Right. There you go. Those are camellias in my garden today. So, thank you for your company this afternoon. Thank you for giving me the encouragement here and for everything else you've added. There will be more over the course of the weekend. I will be doing some more. I can see there's the first hint of bluebells coming out, and maybe some other colours happening over the course of the weekend. Also, somebody suggested the other day, when are we going to have a self-portrait? What, looking like this? Okay, it could be that, could be anything, but that's very good. Time to go and make a cup of tea now. Time for you to do something else. You've had a lovely hour in the company of Timmy, and this is to say thanks for watching, thanks for being part of my lovely lockdown experience. It's a real pleasure, and there'll be more at the weekend. Yeah! Blah!